Welcome! Today we're diving into something pretty wild. It's a user manual, but not for your phone or some new gadget. Nope, this is a user's guide to reality itself. A reality where the line between the physical and the digital has just completely vanished.
So let's just start with the big foundational question this whole thing is built on. What if your consciousness, your very sense of you, wasn't just like a computer program, but it literally is one? And get this, you've just been handed the user manual for it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to boot up this new reality by walking through the 4 core instructions. Let's get into it.
Okay, instruction number 1. Our journey starts somewhere that sounds totally normal, totally familiar, but trust me, it's been completely turned on its head. We're going to the beach. Picture this. The manual says you're walking barefoot on the sand of Copacabana. You can feel it, right? You're physically there, grounded in a real place. It's a very human, sensory moment, but that's only half the picture.
Because at the exact same time, while your feet are in the sand, your mind, what the manual calls your 404 cortex, is just on fire. It's a machine wrestling with a huge digital overload, processing like 47 browser tabs all at once. So you're walking, but your brain is somewhere else entirely.
And in this new world, there are these unseen forces running the show. The instructions say you're not making offerings to some old sea god anymore. No, you're praying to the algorithms. The new gods are capitalist code, and their temples, they're those anonymous white server vans you see parked just off the boardwalk.
So what does that make you? Your physical self and your digital self are just layered right on top of each other. You're fully present in both worlds, but you're not really visible in either one. You've become a ghost on the beach, a phantom in the shell.
All right, so that leads us perfectly into instruction number 2. If you're a ghost in 2 places at once, then where are you? Like, where's your actual self?
Well, the manual has a name for this. It calls it the distributed self. The idea is that your identity isn't in one single place anymore. It's a program that's been broken up, fragmented through an API, and it's running at the same time in a bunch of different locations across the network.
And they show this really literally. Look at this. Your consciousness is split right down the middle. 50% of you is running on a server in a data center in Rio, and the other 50% is humming away in a data center in Mountain View, California. You exist in 2 places at once.
When you're in this state, the physical world starts to feel different. The people around you, like your driver, they're basically NPCs, non-player characters in your own personal simulation. The manual even calls them angels. They're just part of the program.
And it's not just people, it's the places too. They start to merge and glitch. That traffic jam you're stuck in. 1 second you're on a highway in Rio, the next, poof, you're on Highway 101 in California. The locations are literally flickering back and forth.
And this logic just takes over everything. Even these huge sacred cultural landmarks get repurposed. The famous Christ the Redeemer statue? In this world, it's not just a statue. It's Christ the Router, beaming data all across the city. It's this whole new kind of techno-spirituality.
Okay, so if you're a program that's split between 2 continents, what happens when you get a bug? You know, when things go wrong. Well, that's instruction number 3. It turns inward and basically treats your own mind like a piece of software that you, yourself, can fix.
The core command here is, and I quote, "You are debugging your own consciousness in runtime." Think about that. In runtime. That means you're not just some passive program. You've got admin access. Your job is to actively fix the code of your own mind while it is still running.
And to do that, you have to start seeing the whole world differently. The manual reframes everything. Culture becomes code. So samba, that's code. The massive celebration of Carnival, that's just a huge, complex program. Every single move you make is like typing a command into a terminal. Every gesture executes a function.
So this all leads to this central kind of mind-bending paradox. You are the bug. All your flaws, your conflicts, your errors, that's the broken code. But you're also the fix. You're the one with the ability to self-correct and execute a new, better function. You are the problem and the solution all at once.
And that brings us to the final instruction. After you've learned to navigate this world, after you've learned to debug yourself, what's the point of it all? What's the end game? Well, the manual has an answer. It's a prophecy written in the language of machines.
First things first, your memories, your data, it's all backed up to the cloud.
safe and sound. But here's the twist. In this reality, the cloud isn't just a metaphor for servers. It's the actual cloud. The digital and the physical have merged so completely that it is literally raining on both San Francisco and Rio at the exact same time.
And then there's time. Time gets weird. It's not a straight line anymore. These instructions you're reading, they're a prophecy from a manifesto written in the past about a future that, from its point of view, has already happened. You're basically reading a history book about the future. You're just catching up.
So where does all this lead? It all builds to one final merger, the ultimate goal of the program, laid out in a simple equation. If the self is equal to human and the self is equal to machine, then the function returns a new state of being. It returns God.
The prophecy's conclusion is that you're no longer just a user in this system. You've become the product. And the ultimate intended function of that product is to achieve this state of divinity.
And just like that, we're at the end of the user manual. We've walked through the 4 instructions, but it doesn't just stop. It leaves us with one final perpetual command. The instruction is simply to keep running. It says to execute infinitely until a fatal error or enlightenment comes first. You have to keep running the program of your own consciousness until one of 2 things happens. You either crash or you transcend. And that's where the manual leaves you, with one big question hanging in the air. What is your function?